Good morning, everyone. Good to see you all. My name is Zameer. Thanks for the elaborate introduction. To give you a brief about myself, I'm a developer relations engineer at Relic. What I do is focus on advocacy and evangelism with customers and the developer community. By nature, I'm a full stack developer. I've worked within the domains of marketing, telecommunications, and finances over the past 8 years. So I've done tons of hands-on engineering, and now I'm working in the observability, trying to improve the software with the experience that I built using observability. And I'm also an independent OpenTelemetry advocate at Relic. So OpenTelemetry is the next frontier for observability. I advocate it actively in the platform and outside the company as well. I'm sure in your entire lifetime of your careers, you must have seen this or heard this from someone in your company or your teams. It works in my machine. My application has not been deployed properly, or the app's problem, ops pointing to dev, devs pointing to ops again. But why does this happen? Additionally, I've heard these days some engineers complaining that my container is right, you have not deployed my container right. So the container did not really solve the problem, it works in my machine. But why does this happen? Because there is a lack of transparency, there is no insights. There is lack of observability of what exactly is going wrong. Is it the application that's failing? Is it the deployment model? Is it the system? What is the cause exactly? Having this gray area causes all this problem, which helps in not achieving the blameless culture most companies are trying to do. Observability helps you in reaching that stage and solve these blaming points from each other. This is a typical landscape of technology today. We have like customers, mobile applications, social media. We have application servers where there are hyperscalers like AWS, GCP, and multiple other cloud vendors. We have data centers which are on-premise, where a lot of monolithic applications are there. Some banking applications are there behind the firewalls. Then we have private clouds, and a lot of microservices which are agentless or serverless applications. Then comes the databases. We have hybrid data and then managed database sources. We will also have serverless databases today, which are kind of the same as managed databases managed by the hyperscalers. Now, within this landscape, we have so many space from where we collect the telemetry. From mobile applications, we have mobile agents or mobile APMs. For the browser applications, we have browser APM and synthetics, with which you can collect the real user monitoring, monitor your user's behavior, which is the customer of our customers, whoever is using the observability platform. Then comes the application servers or the cloud applications and the cloud vendors, where the typical APM application profiling and application performance management agents are deployed to capture the performance metrics, the response time, the throughput, and everything. Then comes the even more complex part of managing and monitoring the data centers, your cloud infrastructures, your multiple EC2 instances, your Kubernetes clusters, your microservices. Then that's where the infrastructure capabilities come into picture, where it helps you monitor and manage your infrastructure of how performant it is, what is the utilization, what is the consumption, what is the disk space. All that happens because of the infrastructure agent. And APM and synthetics also helps you in capturing metrics from microservices and anything that's agentless. With infrastructure agent, we can also monitor our databases. But these are the boxes that are highlighted. What about the areas that are not highlighted, like social media, your Cloudflare, your CDN networks, your media streamings, or your end users who are directly using on mobile? These are the gray areas. How do we do that? So we also have something called agentless monitoring, which will help you monitor and capture these data without deploying an agent. With that, you will have a complete overview of your complete architecture from your customer towards your application that is scaling to infinite on a daily basis. And all this data with all these different agents you can bring into Relic. And we support and provide you all the tools like agents, agentless, and APIs, and something which is also called manual. You can send the data and manipulate the data on your infrastructure and send it to our platform directly. So within this landscape, capturing your metrics, your logs, your events, and also traces, you can bring in all to New Relic easily. But we are talking about observability and full stack observability. Today, at this time, instrumenting and collecting data is easy. You deploy an agent, you have tons of open source, you have tons of third-party agents, you can deploy and you can start collecting the data. That's become fairly easy. Instrumentation was a magical thing about 8 years ago. How do I collect the metrics? How do I monitor the performance of my application? But what is important today is context. Having the right context helps you make sense of the data that you are collecting. All your telemetry that you're collecting, if you do not have the context, you're only going to do the same thing that you have been doing with the traditional monitoring. Check the log files, check the individual jump boxes in multiple staging servers, multiple production machines, and you're still wasting your time. So if you do not have the context with your observability and telemetry data, it's of no use. That's why context is the king in terms of observability. Having contextual information actually gives you the true value of observability. We'll see about that in a while of how the context helps you. So this is a typical offering from New Relic APM where we have instrumented a simple node application. You'll see from top to bottom we are capturing throughputs, response time, what is the error rate, everything. And then comes what are the different logs. How many error logs are generated, how many information logs are generated, what is the network traffic, and with that, how many places my application has been deployed. In today's world, it's possible that one application could be deployed in multiple hosts in a microservices model. But if your application has started to get slow, how do you identify quickly what's the cause? Is it your application or is it one of your hosts or one of your containers in a pod? How do we identify that? So New Relic APM provides you the context of whatever infrastructure that you're using. It correlates that information and gives you that information in a single screen. If it's your infrastructure that's slowing down or if it's your APM. Also, it provides you a service map where you can get the complete overview of what applications are slowing down, which hosts are erroring out, and what is the different response times. So you don't have to jump around. You can easily get all the context in a single screen. Now, these are the high-level metrics for my backend services and infrastructure. But what is most important today? Customer experience. If your customers do not have a good experience from your application, they're going to leave you. And from the old Google reports of page insights, if the page is not loaded under 2 seconds, the customers try to leave the page or try to aggressively refresh. We have all done that. We try to load a page, it does not load properly, we try to refresh again. Sometimes we blame it on the internet, sometimes we blame it on the developer who has developed the website. So having a good digital experience is important. But how do we solve that if it's running in our customer's browser? We do not have access to that if something fails. So with New Relic's browser APM, apart from all the page metrics and the throughput, you also get something called session replay. In this specific clip that you'll notice, we are able to capture what's happening on your customer's device and what exactly has caused the problem. You get a replay of that, and you can check what exact action that your user has performed that caused the failure of your application. Now, in a typical scenario, if the application is failing, you might be getting that there are so many errors or so many users leaving your website or your mobile application, but you do not have the insight of what exactly happened. And if you do a A/B testing or a survey, your user might say, I did certain action because of which it failed, and your developer is trying to reproduce that, and it's not happening in your developer's machine. So having this replay feature helps you get to the right point to root cause quickly, so that there is no disparity in the information from customers' usage and the developers who are testing the application. And with that, browser APM helps you cover your customers, which is our customer's customer application. But most of all, apart from having all the backend and infrastructure and application from which our users are using, it's important that we reach to the root cause very quickly. Having observability is fun, seeing all the metrics, response time is good, it's under 10 milliseconds, we are giving sub-millisecond performance, but what's the point if we are not able to resolve the errors quickly? New Relic provides a feature called errors inbox, with which you can get to the root cause fairly quickly. In this screen, you'll see all the errors are correlated, and once you open an error, you'll see what are the number of occurrences, what are the different versions that you have deployed, after which specific deployment your errors have gone up. You get all the logs for that particular error in a single screen. So if you are a developer who does not like to search through the log files or open 10 different applications to understand what exactly has happened, which request was it causing the problem, just go to errors inbox and you'll get all the logs in place. Additionally, if you want to understand from my application this error happened and I'm seeing these logs, but where exactly has it happened? What API call or what function call was failing? There is something called distributed tracing. From the same screen, you just click on the trace, which is already contextualized for you. Once you click on that, a new screen opens up and provides you the information of all the API calls or the traces from your application. And it's only relevant to that particular application that you're trying to triage. Additionally, you get the right context just from one click. Once you click on the trace, you'll notice that you are directly being brought to the error. If you want to understand what has happened, you can expand and you can see what other operations or what other calls were happening. If it is calling some database, if it was relying on some external services, you're able to get that right context here. Just like error inbox, if you want to understand which logs were generated during that function execution or that API call, you get something called logs in context, which provides you, again, the contextualized log for that particular API call. Now, the same API must have been called 10,000 times, but only one has failed. How do you get to that right exact log? With logs in context, you are able to reach there just with a single click. This provides you the context information, may it be your ops or developer, whatever your persona. This helps you reach to the root cause very quickly, which is helping you reach to your metrics of mean time to detect, which is MTTD, important metric for a business. Resolving application issues faster helps SRE and developers, but helping reduce the MTTD helps the business overall. With that, having all the information and contextual observability is powerful, which helps in making it effective observability. Now, having effective observability requires powerful telemetry, which comes from consistent instrumentation. There is nothing like you just deploy the agent and regardless of the platform or open source, that agent is going to give you all the information. It's just like AI. You put the garbage data into train, you get the garbage out. If you put the raw data in, if you don't have proper data that you're collecting, you're not going to get the proper telemetry, which is going to be useful to you. So consistent instrumentation and improving your telemetry, how you're collecting, may it be your application, your infrastructure, or microservices, having that proper contextual information is going to help you overall. And it's not just a one-time effort. It's something that you have to do work continuously. It's a journey to have a proper observable information across your system architecture. Now, how does New Relic help you get all this? Now, having this contextual information, one point which I missed mentioning was you can reduce your MTTR, which is mean time to resolve, by up to 80%. And this is not a number that I've pulled from thin air. Our customers have reduced their MTTR by 80%. There are some case studies I can share with you if you're interested, how they have done that. Because they have all the contextual information and everything, they're able to achieve that number. How does New Relic help you in achieving this, reducing your MTTD and reducing your MTTR? Evolution of observability is something that's been talked about now. But traditional monitoring, which has been in place for the longest of time, where it dealt with only up or down, red or green, sleep or no sleep for our DevOps and SRE engineers. That was the focus. And then came multiple different tools, focusing on logs only, focusing on only tracing, focusing only on metrics, which is like Prometheus or some ELK stack that you're trying to scale. And each data was in silo. Each team trying to use different platform, different tools, and each team again does not have complete transparency in the complete system architecture of what's going wrong. Then came the modern observability into picture about 6 years ago when the boom happened in the cloud. Everyone trying to move to, trying to migrate to cloud, build on top as SaaS applications. That's where the modern observability came into picture, where getting the unified information from across your system became important. Having the complete full stack observability became more important, because there is application that's scaling to infinite clusters, and there is big billion days, like even for Flipkart, which are scaling to petabytes of data in a single day with millions of users accessing your application. What happens when the applications go down? Businesses lose revenue. Customers lose trust in the applications. You lose business brand perception. So having this kind of telemetry to resolve it proactively became more important every day. That's where the modern observability started shining. And with New Relic, we provide something called all-in-one observability solution, which focuses on two different facets. One is a data cloud, and another is insight cloud. New Relic is essentially a data platform where we can collect all your telemetry, may it be metrics, events, logs, or traces, or anything third-party telemetry from any of your application, and ingest it into our data platform. And we support via agent, may it be eBPF, your open telemetry. We have our own 700+ integrations which you can use easily and collect the data. And you can use agentless options as well. The CDNs that I talked about in the very first slide about in the landscape, you can collect that telemetry as well. So if you have your businesses relying on CDNs, you can use our agentless option to monitor your CDNs so you can understand it's not your application but the CDN that's causing the failures. And the second half of that is Insights Cloud. What do we do with all the telemetry that we are collecting? What can we do? What can you do with the telemetry that you are collecting? How useful it is to you? We help you analyze and provide you with a platform which can make all this information intelligent for you. We contextualize the information, put everything into a single screen, provide you with good dashboards, help you correlate information from your web application, your backend, your mobile application, any landscape or any means of data that you are generating from your services. We use the Insight Cloud to generate that information and make it sensible for you. Today, our data cloud is being used by over 16,000 customers, which handles about 7 billion events per day. And the scale at which we are operating is we are one of the largest data platforms where we have like 140 million queries per day run by our customers on their data that they're ingesting. But the most important piece of all the scale is we are built on open standards. So that means if you are working on something, let's say open telemetry or something that was open tracing earlier, we support that. We help you adopt the open standards so you're not locked in. And with open standards, you do not have to worry of how your data is going to be, what's the data format. We fully embrace the open standards, so you don't have to work every time you have to re-architect your application. Your telemetry remains the same with the open standards. And no presentation today is complete without mentioning the word AI. So we have been doing AI before AI came into the mainstream and into every other presentation. New Relic had AI-powered insights from way back 2018. We help you analyze your application and something called anomaly detection. So if your applications have slowed down, let's say 4 days have been a normal operation and 5th day it has slowed down. The anomaly detection, which is AI-powered, automatically provides you the alerting and showcases it on your dashboards that something has gone wrong with your application. The normal performance has deviated. So all that capability is built in. We also help you monitor your generative AI applications today. So if you are using any form of OpenAI, Hugging Face or anything, we help you monitor those as well. So you can tune the cost as well as monitor what is the usage from your application for those particular AIs and LLMs. We also provide a real-time analytics platform and insights platform where you can set up the real-time alerts, and you can use these real-time alerts to capture may it be failure or proactive failure. You can set up the query on 80th percentile if your application has started deviating, get an error, and you get the notification from your any channel, may it be PagerDuty or Slack. And with that, you can help, reach, and assist with your team using the proactive method. Now, lastly, with all the traditional monitoring and modern observability, the next frontier for observability is observability should be intelligent. What does that mean? We have the traditional monitoring where we had only monitoring aspects, which was reactive. With modern observability, we have switched to proactive method of resolving the issues. And we have all the feature of unified data, contextualized information. But what's next? The next that's coming for observability is going to be AI assisted. How AI is going to be inculcated into the application, where AI helps you analyze your data, learns on your data, and provides you insights much ahead than what it is doing today. With that, we can provide you central control to also cost optimize your cloud vendors. For example, we help our customers optimize their cost on their AWS bills. How do we do that? We collect all the observability information and telemetry from your system and across your landscape. We help you understand which are the underutilized resources, which are the overutilized resources, which can help you and reduce the cost, in turn help you redirect that revenue and budget to something that's more important, R&D, may it be observability again, so that you can improve on your application and not burn your money. And we also help you scale. If you're scaling, your solutions should also be scaling. Your telemetry or your observability tools should also scale. You should not be focused on scaling and working on scaling your observability solutions. Most of our customers who have tried and failed that come back to us and telling that we should have relied on the platform more, because their focus is more on the business and the platform that they are building, not on managing the solution of telemetry and scaling the telemetry databases. So if you scale, we help you scale with that. And that's something that we are calling as Observability 3.0, which will help you scale and resolve your application and help you include observability in your application journey. With that, I'll conclude. Thank you. If you have any questions or if you want to see the demo, we have a booth. You can come visit us. We'll be happy to give you the complete extensive demo today. Any questions about the platform or observability? Yes, please.
Hello, I'm Ashutosh. So we have been using Zipkin or Zager for microservices traceability, but I did not understand when you said you also do browser and web app,
right?
And backend, and then you give complete contextual traceability. So that part, can you? If can
right. So with Jaeger and Zipkin, you're able to monitor your backend applications, maybe Java, Go, or anything. Now, for web applications, we have something called browser APM, where it may be a single-page application or a multi-page application. We help you capture the same metrics similar to APM. Now, we contextualize that information in our platform based on the trace ID. The concept remains same as what Jaeger does. It has a trace ID. Okay. We capture the trace ID from our web application to whichever service it's making the call to, and we stitch these traces together and give the complete context.
Okay, so this browser, is it your product or?
Yeah, it's browser offerings our own product.
It supports micro front end and the native apps as well?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? All right, I'll be at my booth. Please visit us. If you want to understand the platform, we can walk you through and give you an extensive demo on that. Thank you.